Hi everybody, I hope you're all well and keeping safe during this period of lockdown. I just thought I'd pop onto the YouTube channel to read you all a wee story. I've actually chosen one which I know is Primary One's one of their most favourite books, and it's One Button Benny. So I hope you enjoy.
One Button Benny, written by Alan Windrum, and he is actually an old pupil from Borough Primary School. He also signed this book for us on the day that I took the current Primary 2s to the volunteer hall to see the One Button Benny performance. I wonder if they will remember this from when they were in Primary 1. Benny was different. Benny was special. Benny was a robot. Benny had a bright red button in the middle of his tummy. On the button, written in big bold letters, were the words, "Only press in an emergency." Benny had never pressed his button. He often wondered what would happen if he did. Benny had always known that he wasn't like the other robots. They all had lots of buttons, and when they pressed them, they did wonderful things. Can you spot any of the things their buttons do? Benny often wished there was an emergency so he could press his big red button. Is this an emergency? Or this, an empty biscuit jar? What about this? The television breaking. Can I press my button? The other robots used to tease Benny, saying, "Here comes One Button Benny. Come on, Benny, press your button. Let's see what it does." "I bet it doesn't do anything. Does it even work?" It didn't help that Benny's mum made him wear a vest when it got cold outside. Every time the other robots pressed their buttons, they would show off, saying, "Look at what I can do, Benny. I bet you can't do this." One morning, Benny woke up. It seemed just like any other morning. He had his breakfast, brushed his teeth, looked in the mirror at his big bright red button, and wondered what would happen if he pressed it. But this morning there was something different. There was something wrong. I wonder if you can spot what's different. Outside in the street, everyone was zipping and zooming around in a panic, shouting, "Oh dear, what will we do? The collectors are here! The collectors are here!" Benny had heard stories about the collectors, scary stories that kept him awake at night and made him hide under his blanket. The collectors were small, hairy, scary aliens with green bottoms who travelled through space looking for bright shiny metal. They would gather it all up, throw it into their gigantic crushing machine and turn it into teapots. The collectors had arrived in the night when everyone was sleeping and taken over Benny's planet. All the robots were crying as the collectors took them down the main street toward the spaceship and their gigantic crushing machine. "Help! We are all going to be crushed and turned into teapots." Benny looked at his mum and said, Mum, I don't want to be a teapot. What are we going to do? Is this an emergency?" What do you think his mum said? She said, "Yes, Benny, this is an emergency. Quick, press your button. You are the only one who can save us now." Benny placed his finger over the big red button on his tummy, closed his eyes, and pressed his button. But nothing happened. Then all of a sudden, there was a zing, zang, then a very loud boom. Benny went zooming into the sky, faster than the fastest rocket, flying higher and higher up into space. He pressed his button again, and bright blue laser beams came shooting out of his fingers and from the toes of his boots, zapping the collectors from behind and turning their bottoms bright red. Benny pressed his button a third time, and there was a brilliant flash of light that stretched across the whole sky. It confused the collectors so much that they all ran around bumping into each other. They were so scared of Benny and what he could do that they ran as fast as they could into their spaceship and flew away never to return. All of the robots just stood and stared at Benny in amazement. Then, together, they started jumping up and down, smiling and cheering and singing, "Zing, zang, zoom, Benny touched the moon. Zing, zang, zoom, his button goes boom. Zing, zang, zoom, Benny wears a vest. Zing, zang, zoom, Benny is the best." Everyone lifted Benny up on their shoulders as they sang and danced all through the town. Later that night, Benny was still amazed at what had happened when he pressed his big bright red button. And as his mum was tucking him up in bed, Benny asked her, "Do you think I will ever get to press my button again?" "I hope that you never have to, Benny, but somehow I think you will." With that, she gave Benny a good-night kiss, turned out the light, and before you could say zing, zang, zoom, Benny was fast asleep. The end. I hope you all enjoyed the story, boys and girls. Tune in next time to see what other stories I've got to read for you. Bye!